Hey guys, it's Curtis Schweppe back in the shop with the Crossfire XR plasma table. It's been a while since I posted anything. Today we're going to be cutting some stuff out of some 1-inch thick material with the new Hypertherm PowerMax 65 sink. We got right here, this is the part. It is a dump stop. It's basically a backstop for a roll-off truck that rolls off dumpsters. And when he has shorter dumpsters on the truck, he has to not pull them up as far on the truck. So this is basically what locates on another roller, and it stops the dumpster short. So anyway, a couple people have been asking me like what my process is for cutting this thick material with using a pierce hole or edge starting. So on this particular part, I'll show you the process I went through, and then I'll show you how we go about cutting it and the settings. Alright, so anytime I'm cutting anything out of 1-inch thick steel or thicker material in general that is somewhat large, and material is so expensive now, I'll usually find a piece of scrap sheet metal, and I will, if I'm unsure at all, I'll cut it out of sheet metal and use this as a template, take this to the customer, test fit it, make sure everything fits and functions properly, and then I'll come back and I will use this as a template. So just for template, for layout, you can throw that on there, and then especially when you're using big metal like this, it's probably not going to be perfectly square like this. You're going to use whatever you have laying around, and then you can try and use that template to shift and move around wherever you want. Also, on thicker metal like this, I usually do a little bit longer of a lead in. That way it gives it time to actually get the pierce going. And we're actually going to be piercing right here. I drilled a pierce hole with the drill. I used like, I think the drill bit was like maybe 90 thousandths diameter drill. Pretty small. I'll move it out of the way. But anyway, you know, you just gotta get a start hole so that arc can get down in there at full depth. So it doesn't take a real big hole. And then you can run your fire control in dry run. You know, so once you set your 0 up, which mine's down here, then you can go into dry run. You can speed it all the way up to 200% and make it travel faster. But as soon as it goes in dry run, it's going to jump over here real quick, then hit your stop button. Look where your torch is on your workpiece, and then once it's stopped, just mark the spot where the torch is overhead. And then you have a spot to drill your hole. It's real simple, it's common sense. It's not rocket science, guys. But that's how I do it. Just fast and simple. There's nothing else to it. And then you can come down here to your program. You can select on the program, and it should highlight. If you zoom in, you select it, it'll highlight green. Then you can jump to that once you generate your program, and it'll just jump over here, and then you hit stop again, and then you make a mark on your material where the torch is over right there where it starts, and then you drill your hole there. Same principle applies if you're starting on an edge of the material. If you have this thing laid out here, whenever you make your program, you got to make sure you start on the edge. So just bring your torch over. You don't have to do any drilling then. On an edge cut, you just start it right there, you know. Not too complicated. So anyway, this is 1-inch thick material. We're going to get started here. We're programmed this with book settings from the Hypertherm manual. We're using the Hypertherm PowerMax 65 sink, 65 amp cartridge on the torch, the 65 amp. We have good clean air. We ground a clean spot for the ground over here on the plate. We got our height set on this thick material. I'm not going to run torch height control, so we're going to turn that off. And then let's see, what else do I need to specify on this? Oh, yes. Notice with this thick 1-inch material, look at all these slats I have removed. Anytime you're cutting this thick material, as soon as it comes across a slat, sometimes it will cause you to not make full penetration, and then you'll end up with a bad spot on your line. So this whole thing is going to be cut without even touching a slat, except for at 2 points. 1, 2, here. And you'll see that if you watch the video closely, you'll see like probably a ton of sparks whenever it goes over that slat. And then hopefully it will continue cutting. But if you have slats every 3 inches on this thick material, as soon as it hits a slat, by the time it might not make full penetration until it gets about halfway through again. I mean, it's like 95% penetration. So then by the time 3 inches more, then it hits another slat, and then you're left with all this terrible cut. And 95%, whatever, it might be 100% penetration, but what's actually holding it together is all the molten metal underneath. So it just makes it real easy, a lot easier and cleaner to be able to remove your workpiece, because it just works better that way. So whenever you're cutting this thick material, like 1 inch or more, or 7/8, whatever, remove your slats. I mean, you're just torching the crap out of your slats anyway and making them look like crap. So there's no point. Just take them out. Use the bare minimum to hold up your workpiece. Anyway, let me get you set up on the tripod here. Like I said, 65 amps, 8 inches a minute for this 1-inch thick steel. And we're ready to cut. So here we go. Looks to be pretty good. That'll definitely warm up the water temperature for sure. Let's see what we got here. Just if you guys were curious, that was with the Hypertherm PowerMax 65 sink plasma cutter, 65 amp cartridge, and that was 8 inches a minute. We were cutting at 0.125 height, and we were piercing at 0.25 height. So that one dropped right in, no problem. Let's get a hammer here. There it is. The fewer slats you have, makes it a lot easier. That way it ain't welded to the slats. Goodness, that is being tough. Okay. Whew. 1-inch material gets pretty heavy. Excuse the little vibration here. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod here and zoom in so you guys can see the cut quality on this. Like I said, this is 1 inch and it did a damn good job. Right here is where the torch pierced, I believe. That's why you got that little bit of a cup there, but man, it did a damn good job. 8 inches a minute, cutting at 0.125 height, piercing at 0.25 with a starting pierce hole. I drilled a hole like 0.09 diameter or 0.0825, somewhere in there. I'm just guessing. I'll show you the drill I used. Pretty small drill bit. I just grabbed the first thing I could find that looked to be about the right size, so. Don't overthink it, guys. It's a lot easier than some people might make it out to be. It just takes a lot longer to cut it because it's so damn thick. But anyway, I gotta cut 3 more of these, so I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Schweppy's Shop channel on YouTube for a lot more videos. I got videos on the Hypertherm PowerMax 65 sink. I am using the Harbor Freight refrigerated dryer. I'm actually doing an acorn swap retrofit on this old Bridgeport Boss right here. And just started on that not too long ago. We're getting ready to get that thing finished up here soon. We ripped all the original circuit boards and stuff out of it and replaced it all. Retrofitted with some new servo drives and everything else. Using the Centroid controls. I also got a Samurai project over here that we're working on. Should be firing this thing up this weekend. Put a 4.3 liter in it with the SM420 transmission. We got Bobcat stuff, making excavator buckets and Bobcat implements. We got railroad equipment over here that we're disassembling and turning into a firewood processor. We'll be making a grapple thumb for the John Deere 410C backhoe out there. All kinds of stuff coming up this year. So if you like what you see, like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Thanks, guys.